Okay, we're live. We are now live. Time to learn the ground flow practice. I'm going to take you through some moves, some very simple moves, okay? And these are going to be able to help you, right, better yourself in any form of exercise that you do, right? So we're going to start off. I'm actually going to probably go through a lot of the practice, a lot of the flow, right? So the first move, the first practice in ground flow is something called a 4-point reset. And what this does, I'm going to move this a little bit. There we go. So there we go. What this does, okay, is it strengthens your arms, your shoulders. You'll feel it straight away in your quads, and you're also going to feel it in your abdominal muscles. It's an absolutely beautiful practice, right? And it's one of the only ones that you need. So we're going to start off. What you're going to do, you're going to get on your hands and get on your knees. You're going to bring your toes under. See where your toes are? Not like that. Like this. Bring your toes under. And all you're going to do is you are going to lift your knees off the ground, right? Nothing else, just your knees. And you're going to stay in that position. And the moment you do this, you're going to feel stress in your shoulders, in your arms, in your wrists, in your quads, and in your abdominal muscles. Breathe in and out, and gently come down. There we go. And breathe. Now, if you're doing any form of practice, now what it will be, one of the important things is to breathe. So you want to breathe in through your nose for about 4 or 5 seconds, and out through your mouth for about 6 seconds. Always try to breathe out for longer than you breathe in, even if it's for 2 seconds. 1, 2. Hold and breathe out. And what you're doing by doing this, you're activating your vagus nerve. And your vagus nerve is your parasympathetic digestive system. Okay. Puts you into rest and digest. Your parasympathetic nervous system. My apologies, not digestive system, your nervous system. Your parasympathetic nervous system. What it does is it takes your body into rest and digest. So we're going to do it again. Here we go. You're in this position, and you're going to just engage your abs, engage your lower back. So your pelvis is in a neutral position, not too far up, not too far down, and you're going to lift off again. There we go. Now, when you're doing this, breathe in. Remember to breathe. Remember to breathe. Holding it there for about 10, 15 seconds. But make sure that your knees are underneath your hips. You're not further back, because then it takes away the pressure. The whole point of this 4-point reset is to lift your knees up so they're underneath your hips, and you get the full benefits of the stress on the quads and on the abdominal muscles. Breathe in and come down. The full engagement in your abdominal muscles and in your quads, absolutely, it's a beautiful exercise. All right. There we go. If you've got any questions at all, okay. Boom. Right, Baz. There you go. Should be on. Okay, right, so here we go. Once again, so you're going to lift up and hold. Now, what you can do from here, look, you can move, right? Just move around, right? Keeping your knees about 1 inch off the ground. That's where you get a full engagement of your abdominal muscles, your quads, your side, your abdominal muscles at the sides, your transverse, and your shoulders are absolutely loaded. You hold it like that and you come down again. Here we go. Right. From there, what you can do from there, you can go into your hip builder. So you're going to go from here, look, from there, you're going to come down to there. So what you're going to do. From there, boom, to there. So what you're doing, so you're going to go from there nice and gently, from there, that position, not on your knees. Remember, you're not on your knees. You're not on your knees. What you are, is your knees are hovering just off the ground. Look, remember my feet. Remember your toes are under. They're not like this. They're under. And all you're doing, look, you're lifting like that. You heave, your knees are hovering off the ground. You're breathing. And you're going to just sit like this. So you're doing it like that. And you're going to come sit like that. Okay, so what this is doing, right, it's engaging your shoulders to move and to stay loaded at the same time. Okay, so once again, now we're going to go from there, look. We're going to go to there. And then to there. Taking your time. Now if you can't do this yet, use your hands just to lift yourself up like this. There we go. Like that. That's all you've got to do. Use your hands to lift yourself up back onto your sit bones and over like that. From V, from a Z to an S. Remember all the time you're breathing. And back in again and come back over. There we go, like that. The aim, as you're breathing through, the aim is to be able to do this without any hands. That's what you're aiming to do. And what you're doing is you're really taking your hips into a position that they're not used to. You used to be able to do it. Everybody could do this when they were younger. You get an 8-year-old to do this. Right? We've just lost the ability to do things like this through comfort. We've sacrificed mobility for comfort. Right? We're going to go from there. Look, right? We're going to sit from here. And all you're going to do, the aim is to be able to come up like this. Okay? And go down. Go down. That's the aim. Right? From there, look, from the S to the S, up and down. Right? Thank you for the heart. I love that. And down again. You come up and down again. What we're going to do, you're going to come over again, look, to there. There we go. That is the aim of it. The aim of it is to move, is to get your hips moving again. Right, and then we're going to go into a figure 4. So this leg, the left leg is going to stay down. The right leg comes over the top. So you're in a figure 4. If you're looking through, you'd see a figure 4. And all you're going to do from here, right, is you're going to just go up to there. That one? Yes. To there and back again. Do 3 or 4 of these. Maybe 5. You're going to come again. You're going to go up and knee to the ground and back down again. There we go. From there again. Breathe again. Remember your breathing. That's the important thing. Remember, this isn't mobility, primal flow, ground flow, animal movements, whatever. They're not exercises, they're practices to get you moving again like you used to be able to move, okay? I'm going to go from here again, look, and up to there. And back down again. Maybe one more. And we're going to switch sides. Yeah, and back down. There from there to there. Remember, now it's your right leg down. Your knees flat. The left knee is up. So you're just sitting like this. And then you're going to come off. The aim is with no hands. And over. That's the aim. And come back down. Remember your breathing. However, if you're struggling at the beginning, because remember that I do this all the time, so it's a process and a practice that I've mastered. But if you're beginning, you might try it once and think, oh, I can't do that, but you can. You can do that. If you do it regularly, consistently, you'll be able to do it. Yeah? Just all you got to do is just, at the beginning, just watch your lower back because it can pull. And all you're going to do is just put your hand down. Lift yourself up if you need to. There we go. There we go. Okay. And come back down again. Beautiful. Again. And we're now, one more time, going to come up again. There we go. And back down again. Right. So all we've done then, we're going to piece that together. Right? So we're going to go from the 4-point reset to the hip builder. So we're going to go from here. Look. Here we go. 1 second. So here we go. From there, remember my toes, if you just joined, your toes are tucked under. And all you're going to do is your knees are going to float off the ground like this. They're going to float like that. If you want to move around, you can move around. Look, right? Okay. And you're going to go from there. You're going to sit right into that position. You can go from there. You can go from there. You can go back to there. You can come up, down, up, down. You can go over, under, over, under. Over, and then we're now going to go from there, right? Obviously into there, right? So there, into there. Now, we're now going to stand up. Okay, we're going to stand up. Okay, so how we're going to do this, right? The aim is to use no hands. Remember your breathing all the time. Always remember your breathing. Always. We can forget, one thing we can do in any form of practice or any form of exercise is we can forget, right, to breathe. And if you can't breathe when you are doing this form of flow, slow, controlled, and then you're doing it wrong. So what we're going to do is you're going to take, remember breathing, 2 seconds in, 2 or 3 seconds in, hold it, breathe out for 3 or 4 seconds. Always breathe out for longer. Now, because it activates your vagus nerve, your rest and digest, the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, when I go from here, the aim is to use no hands at all to stand up, right? But at the beginning, just use your hands. So you're doing it up, okay, and down, right? Use your hands, okay, up and down, right? But the aim is to just do that, no hands, right? Change over and come down. There we go. And again, you're going to come up and you're going to come down, right? That's the aim, right? But remember, right, it takes a bit of time, right, to get to that point. From there, right, so then we're going to piece that together again, right? Once again, remember, it's a practice, so you take your time, right? It's something you can do. The beauty of any sort of flow, right? Any sort of flow, right? Is But any sort of flow is it's slow and it's controlled, right? Slow and controlled. There we go. There we go. Right, so it's slow and controlled. So you go. Hello, something there. Right. I'm going to have to take you off there, mate.